It's your boy Zay-P, Zay-P that I am. I am that I am, as you are that you are, for we are all that we are. From the individual to the many, from the many comes the all, and the all is one. So the more I say that, the more it comes into alignment for me in my personal life, and I hope it connects and resonates with you all as you recognize that divine spark that we all share and that embodies or is inhabited within you, right? Take a moment, if you can, feel free to share, feel free to like. I'm going to be sharing what I'm going through currently with the collective energies. There's been a big, like, uprising or ground swelling from below the surface, the subconscious realm, so to speak. There's a lot of hidden emotions, repressed emotions, um, coming up to the surface. And also, I'm experiencing personally, I'm feeling a lot of experience. Other people are experiencing a lot of activity within the dream state, a lot of resurgence of memories, soul fractals coming back to us. I've had a few experiences recently of just various aspects of my, let's say, alternate soul lives coming back to me, various recollection. And I've never been one to seek for past life memories. So when they come back, it's always like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with that right now? I guess you just take it and you integrate it, right? And so that's the message. That's kind of the message that's coming through right now is with this current energies and the portals that's opening as far as the synchronicity of numbers. I don't know if you noticed, tomorrow's March 3rd, the 3-3 already. All right. And then it's the 21, 2021, which is also a 3. So we got the 3-3-3. We're talking the Holy Trinity, right? And we want to balance that Holy Trinity, that Father, Son, Holy Ghost, that Mother, Daughter, Holy Spirit, right? That id, ego, super ego, all of the trinities. We want to bring these things into balance. As we do that, we're bringing all the pieces of ourselves into wholeness, right? So we function from the mental realm, we function here in the physical realm, and we function in an emotional realm, right? And there's all of the uh, intermediary states in between, right? So there's always the gamut that we flow through, but we function in these different realms. And as we come into alignment with ourselves and we harmonize back with that, right? Recognizing that divine spark that I initially talked about, well, then we come into balance with wholeness. The Holy Trinity becomes one, and we become a whole unified being, a whole unified expression of that divine spark, the God within. And once you step to that place where you're connecting and embodying and expressing that within your own life, this is when we start to create change, right? Because our belief systems start to change, the way we think, our neural pathways and the epigenetics that happens within the brain start to change and transform. As these things happen, the world around us transforms, right? Um, but it's work, right? So let's not mistake and think, as excited as I might be in this moment, it's always work. And so with that, you want to be mindful that we have to begin to do the work to align those three bodies, right? The id, ego, super ego that I was just talking about. We have to do the work to align um, those three states and to step into wholeness, right? And so the message that has been coming forth for me personally is facing facing all of the suppressed and all of the repressed, all of the things that a lot of times we don't like to face. A lot of times we are, this is the stuff that we fear, that we're scared of the consequences, or we're afraid that we can't handle it. We're afraid we might break below the pressure, right? And so we might push it down. We might choose to not deal with it or deal with it later. Um, we might choose just to not feel it, not to feel painful things because let's face it, this experience that is life, we kind of conditioned to really, we want to feel the positive, the good stuff, but we're not looking to feel the negative things, right? But we have to. And that is the call. Like the things that are rising um, from beneath the surface, they're not, clearly they were repressed for a reason, and they're not uh, they may not necessarily feel good, right? And we have to be willing to allow ourselves to process. We have to process the things we've went through, the experiences we've had, and the things we feel. We have to allow that process to happen, and that process can be as simple as the thought and the recognition based off observation, right? The ability to step back, observe, and perceive. Thank you, Rita. Everybody for sharing. I apologize. You know, I get in my rants in my states. So, um, but we have to be willing to step back and observe. And that could be enough as far as processing goes. We have to be willing to feel and allow that, to love ourselves with compassion, even though it's a painful feeling, it's a painful experience, right? So if it's a thing of like, I'm mourning. Somebody I love has passed. I missed out on this particular, the love of my life is gone. I missed out on this particular experience, whatever it is. Instead of running away from it or repressing it or trying to distract ourselves, trying to escape it, medicate it, all of these other things, sometimes it's okay to just feel it. And as scary as that might be, you know what they say about courage, right? Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the presence of fear and the willingness to move forward in spite of it, right? So when you think of it like that, we can come forward and demonstrate courage in just embracing ourselves, embracing our pains, embracing our vulnerabilities, allowing that hurt to come up and be recognized, because these are energies within, and energies within, as they stir, they desire to come out, to be expressed. We have to expel them, because if they stay just within all of the time, it can overload, combust, so to speak, right? So energies are always looking to come out. The emotions we feel, the thoughts we think, all of these energies are looking to come out of us. That impulse to grow, to birth, to create, always, that is the impulse. That is that divine impulse, right? So sometimes these darker things need to be felt, and they need to be expressed or let out. And that doesn't mean, we're not having the, oh, more shadow work conversation. We're just having it's time to accept those things we have pushed away. It's time to start allowing ourselves to feel, to be compassionate to ourselves, so that we can just let it go, however it may be, right? But there's other sides to this whole perspective and this whole game that I would be remiss if I didn't mention. And one of that is that, and a lot of us here are empaths, right? And not just empaths, but telepaths as well. And one thing you do want to keep in mind is that as empaths, as telepaths, these energies linger, right? And as I just said, we all, in some way, form, or fashion, may desire to expel, to put these things out there, to let them go, or to purge them somehow, whether mindfully, whether healthily, or whether just to get them out of us. People function at different levels. But as that is the case, we are also receptive, right? Because we are, in a way, antennas. And so we can be receiving these things, right? But one of the things with that is that it's often thought like, when we're receiving things against our will, some people might label it under attack. When we're receiving things in a way that is just that we don't prefer, we like to try to disown it. Yet again, right? It's the same thing. But we have to understand that there's part in us that resonates. And as that is the case, even the things we're picking up on that are not necessarily ours, they come to us for a reason. And so sometimes allowing even that emotion, foreign emotion that just is like, maybe there's a sense of mourning, You know, maybe there's something and you are not going through anything. And you're like, what the hell is all of this emotion about? Why do I feel like I'm just sad today? I don't know. I'm going through life. Life is fine. Meeting my goals and whatever, we're functioning. But there's this underlying, uh, right? And so you can be picking up on things, right? But recognize that even when that happens, it is because there's a resonance within you. And so we always want to just acknowledge what's happening within us and allowing that to be expelled. Ideally, in the best way possible, whether it's we gotta cry it out and express it out, put it in art, whether it's we gotta really work with transmuting the energies, grounding it, physical exercise, getting out in nature, running and playing, right? However, these energies need to be expelled. Now, it's just even acknowledging it, right? Like, there's these memories coming up that I never even realized I I had shunned, right? And so all of this emotion started welling up when I first got bombarded with these memories that I had from childhood initially, right? And this was last week sometime, and I had forgotten about this particular incident, right? I don't want to go into too many details, but it was one of those things where when I reflected back, well, when it came back to me, it hit me like a wave. And what came back with that memory was the emotions. And I felt like, well, this is something that back then as a child I was hurt and I had these emotions and it was justified. But me as an adult, I know better. I understand what happened and I've lived through that and I have hindsight. So I shouldn't be so affected. But that inner child was still like, yo, right? Like, so that needed to be felt. I had to acknowledge that they were still pain, that there was still something there that I had been avoiding looking at, right? And I'm still doing the work of just allowing these things to flow out of me because that's been the week for me, right? And so, um, one of the reasons why I've been so laid back with putting out my videos and stuff is because I've been doing my own personal dealings with these type of things, and so it's really been and not even just that, but like past life memories and things just coming to the surface, and for no apparent reason, emotions that are not my own, but just being like, I gotta let it out. I have to honor that I'm feeling this. I have to honor this experience in this moment, even if I'm not gonna take ownership of it, or even if I am gonna take ownership in it. And I have to allow myself to live through it because this is the here and now moment, and it is here and now for a reason. And so that is really what's been coming in the energies right below the surface, right?